Welcome back. My name's Elena and this is my channel, Elena's Knits, where I do some knitting. I show you what I've knit and I talk about it and I talk about life. Welcome so very much to my new followers. Thanks to Megan Ingman from not Let Us Knit, from Lichen and Lace, who shared the video that I made last time. That was 2 weeks ago. About the wonderful visit we had together at her headquarters in Sackville, New Brunswick. Yeah, that was an amazing day. And yeah, so if you've come to me through that, I'm so happy to have you here. Yeah, I have been doing more of those kinds of special episodes where I'm meeting makers lately, but this will be a regular, I think they're called podcast episode, where I'm talking about what I'm wearing, what I've finished knitting, what I'm knitting right now, and some thoughts I have about all of those things. So not to say that that won't happen in the future, but yeah, right now it's early August, or yeah, early August still. The summer is really flying. And, you know, I have more just things going on in life, weekends away, thankfully, and stuff like that. So, for instance, last weekend, we had a really great weekend away with friends that I've known my whole life at their cottage in Muskoka. And I had almost zero time with my phone, which was heaven. It was just all spent swimming, chatting, laughing, eating, and enjoying our friends. So I didn't have an episode last week. Usually I do have one every week, but probably for the rest of this month, I'll be more on average every other week because we do have plans. But I will be here when I can. And yeah, I really do love sharing with you all. That's why I'm doing this. So yeah, I will make the time when I can. Also, you may want to join me over on Instagram. If you've been watching along, this is not something I thought I would do. For the past, I guess, almost 2 years, I have been off Instagram pretty much entirely for reasons. But one of the reasons why I started this channel was to connect more with the crafty community. And I have done some of that through my channel, but I was on Instagram recently for a test knit, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And I did see there was so much great sharing over there. So yeah, I have a new Instagram account, Elena's Knits, which I'll link down below, that you can join me on. And I'll let you know if I have a new episode, if you're not a subscribe on YouTube kind of person. And, you know, maybe share a little bit more of my daily life. But again, I don't really want to be on there all the time. Too much screen time for me is not like great. So yeah, I'll share a little bit. So yeah, please feel free to join me there. I also have a Ravelry account where I have to say, not great about keeping track of my projects, but I'm trying to do better. So yeah, I'm Elena's Knits 1 on Ravelry, and again, I'll link that down below too. All right, so on to my finished object. So the first of these is what I'm wearing today. Hooray! It's the Selkie top by Lotta Löthgren of Elk Market Yarns in Sweden. And yeah, I'll put in some photos or video of me where you can see it a bit better than while I'm sitting down. Yeah, this was my first test knit, and it was such a great experience. It'll be tough to beat. There were so many things I liked about it. I like the pattern. Lotta was really well organized from the outset. You know, everything proceeded as she said it would. She set up an Instagram group or Instagram thread, I don't know what they're called, for all the testers. And so we were to email Lotta if we had suggestions for the pattern, but we could confer in there and just, share the pictures of our works in progress and say how great they all looked, hear where everybody was in the world. A lot of them were in Sweden, but also a lot in Canada and the States and elsewhere in the world. So yeah, I was able to give a couple of suggestions for the patterns, which were incorporated. And then there were some things that came into the pattern after I had finished. So I think in the finished pattern, there are some changes to the neck and maybe the armholes for my size, which was, what was it? Size 5. If it's wrong, I will correct it down below. Yeah, but I mean, the pattern was really well written. I love the pattern. This is my first top that I've knitted that has bust darts, and they fit really well. I think, so I knitted out of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Poppy Blue. I had gotten this yarn for another project, but then frogged it, and I held it double to get the DK weight that the pattern called for. The pattern calls for a yarn, I think it's called Sag and Fay. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that is more of a woolly, like very luxurious wool blend. And the projects that were knit up in that looked gorgeous, but I am in my running hot era. So the silk is a perfect fiber for me for this project. This is nothing to do with the pattern. This is just about the yarn, which was not what the pattern called for. I found it really hard on my hands. To be fair, I did have some sessions of knitting that were unwisely long. So yeah, I knit a lot of this while we were traveling in the East Coast on road trips and waiting for planes and stuff like that. So, like 3-4 hours at a time, not smart. Especially when I'd already had a kind of issue with my left hand that I had to be mindful of. I was not mindful, and I ended up with a repetitive stress injury, knitting the trim at the bottom. So it's a lace rib. So it's a twisted rib with a bit of lace for, I can't remember, 1, 2, 3-ish, maybe longer inches. Beautiful, love it, super fun stitch pattern to knit, but it was really hard on my hands. And yeah, then I had to take almost 2 weeks off of knitting after I finished. I had to get a brace and everything. But yeah, I did learn a lot about, what is good practice. And there are some resources out there for knitters to keep their hands and their whole bodies healthy. So what is it called? Knit for Life is a YouTube, something like that. Knit for Life YouTube and Instagram and app where you can time your knitting and then link to videos for stretching. For me, I think something more simple, like a timer on my watch, or knowing, I can knit for 1 episode of the show and then I need to take a stretch break. Something I would love to find is just something that's like a business card size list of all the stretches I like to do. And so that I can just keep it with my knitting in my project bag and pull it out, so that I can, have a no-brain way of going through my stretches on the go, or in my comfy chair, etc., like that. Okay, so that's my first finished object. I do have another one. So these have been on the go for a while. These are my vanilla socks. They're knit from the pattern How I Knit My Socks, or How I Make My Socks by Susan B. Anderson. And these are knit out of Opal Beauty yarn that's infused with vitamin E and Edelweiss, I think. It's to, I don't know, just make your hands beautiful while you're knitting. I love these. The yarn is a bit more fine than some other sock yarns. So I did my usual, cast on 64 stitches, and they're a bit tighter. I also knit them on a 2mm needle when I often use a 2.5. So I still have to block them, but these might be for my daughter. They might be for me. They're super cheery. It's a great yarn, great pattern. So those are the only finished objects I have. I do have some works in progress. So this is the first of them that I'm doing right now. You can stop twirling now. This is, if you're curious, it is from the company Lykke, Lykke. My sister gave this to me for Christmas. I think it's called a yarn butler, which is a great name. I think they do have other names for this kind of tool. But yes, so you can put your yarn on here and it spins, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of color work, so I'm hoping that this helps with tangling, like avoiding tangling. So these are going to be the Quilty Cabin socks. I'll put a picture up. These have been in my queue for a long time. I saw, I think it was Marlene's Knits. She had one done for a long time. And I think she might be working on the second one now after her own injury recovery. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. It's such a cute pattern. The yarn that I'm using is really special. It is Botanical Fibers Sensible Sock. And this I got, here, I'll take the price tag off. Try to anyways. Yeah, there we go. Comes off nicely. Botanical Fibers Sensible Sock, which is 80% merino, 20% recycled nylon. They are based in Nova Scotia here in Canada. And I got this. This is an exclusive, these are both exclusive colorways to Lamb and Frog in Brackley Bay, Prince Edward Island. And they are PEI Dirt Road and Pale Dirt Road. Pale PEI Dirt Road. So there's not a huge amount of contrast, but I think it's enough to make a really cute pair of socks and then another really cute pair of socks. So yeah, the pattern has one color for the whole sock except for a color work band around on the leg. But I'm thinking I will also do the heels in the contrasting color. And toes TBD. I may or may not do them in the contrast color. But since, this pair will have the darker color as the main color, then the other one will be reversed. So I should have enough yarn for both. Yeah, so I'm really excited about these. Finally got them started yesterday. And yeah, so it starts with a 2x2 rib. That takes me to something I noticed recovering from my repetitive stress injury. I can't remember what it's called. It's D' something, and it's like in your wrist and the base of your thumb. For some reason, when I started to knit, I was doing, 10 minutes at a time. I found, and I was working on these socks mostly, I found that knitting continental was easier. Like it led to less tension in my hand than knitting English style. But I'm still, like right now, I'm talking and knitting at the same time, and I don't feel comfortable enough with continental to do that. But if I'm just sitting and watching TV or something, then I can focus and do my continental style. And I'm not so worried about tension that I'm not going to switch back and forth. They're socks. Yeah, so I'm happy about this. The other thing, let me just grab it from down below. I think if you're a knitter, you might also be making one of these yourself, because it's a really popular pattern right now. It's the Mildy scarf, or Mildy, by Sandra Carls, who has the most amazing YouTube channel. So this is her first pattern, and I think I'm going to rip back because I made and the error around here. So there's supposed to be a knit stripe that goes up, but I knit on the wrong row, or sorry, on the, the wrong side. For some reason, when I was saying that, I was thinking, why is it wrong? It's not wrong. It's just not the front side. Anyways, so I don't need to overthink that right now. But I think I'll just go back because it's not like I have a time crunch on this, and it's for me. I think I've mentioned this before. Having quote unquote mistakes in my knitting is not something that really bothers me. And I think like, oh, can I live with this or can I not? But I think this is one where I don't think it will really bother me, but I think the exercise of backtracking will build strength of character. What did I say about overthinking? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go back and fix that before I return. And it's a really great pattern. There's like a 4-row repeat once you get going. I'm knitting this out of the leftovers from my top. Yeah, and Sandra made one out of Knitting for Olive in a nice chocolatey brown. And she has said, actually, she had a video where she goes through the pattern and she talks about all the different versions she's knit, how many grams she used, and I didn't have that much left. I had like just shy of 50 grams left. But she said, I think it was like 41 grams she had left of the one she used 41 grams. And that was super helpful. So I could say, oh yeah, I'll have enough to do this. And even, it's a 4-row repeat. If I feel like I'm getting close, I have this ball and then something else around the same size. If it's getting close to the end, I'll just do the ending rows. So yeah, that'll be really lovely. Just something to keep around my neck. I think I'll probably keep it. And then my last work in progress, full disclosure, I haven't actually restarted this, but I do intend to this week. This is my Rosenland top by Sari Nordland. And I was going great guns on this until I signed up for the test knit and got started on that. And then it's been sitting, waiting for me to finish this top and move on. So yeah, now that it's finished, now that my hand is feeling better, this one, I am ready to pick this back up. And now, actually, this is the first time I've taken it out of the bag. It is gorgeous. It is so soft. The yarn I got in Montreal at La Maison Tricoté. And it is Cora Organic Cotton Sport. And I think it's their own brand. And they have them on cones and they'll weigh out the amount that you want for you. So it was very economical. This is the color Naturel. So yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to getting back to this. Sorry, I'm just sitting here drooling. Woohoo, exciting. What else did I want to mention? Hand health, using Continental is easier. I think that's all I wanted to say today. I don't know if I'll be back next week or the week after, or sometime in between, but I will be back soon and we'll see how I'm getting on with these. I hope I've got, goals. I hope that I've gotten the color work on one leg done by then. I hope I have gone back to rip out back to where the mistake is on my Mildy scarf. I hope I have at least pulled the Rosenland top back out. I think it should be pretty easy to get the straps done. That's where I'm at. And I think those are my goals, but it's summer. I'll be kind to myself. I hope you will be kind to yourself as well. I have to go now because I won an online auction and bought a 1970s Lundby dollhouse for my daughter and me. So I have to go pick that up from somebody's house, and we'll give it a good clean, and maybe I'll share some of that progress with you in the coming weeks. All right, thanks for joining me. Please, if you have time, put a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you're working on, whether it's knitting or quilting or sewing or yeah, what have you. That reminds me, yes, next time I see you, I will probably be talking about some sewing I've done, and I'll have a special guest with me, a member of my family, not my daughter, but another family member, so you can just wait and see who that is. And yeah, I'll look forward to sharing that with you. It was quite an adventure. All right, so see you next time with some sewing, maybe some progress on my knits, and a dollhouse. Okay, bye for now. Take care.